A car is probably the single biggest ticket consumer item a person will ever buy in their life, and especially in a place like Singapore, where car prices are really, really high.
Just in the last 3 years, COE prices have risen significantly. Even the smallest increase stands at over 120% in Cat A, and with COE for Cat C surging by over 200%.
So naturally, people will buy a used car because they're cheaper. Obviously, there are some concerns there. But at the same time, you will hold the company to their word if they're promising something good, like, a warranty, a check for defects and all that sort of thing, which I believe second-hand car dealers like Carro do offer.
We think of ourselves really as an online car marketplace. We try to sell the vehicles entirely online, end to end. We actually own the entire ecosystem, from financing, insurance, warranties, after sales.
So how did Carro, a 2015 Singapore-founded used car platform, record a revenue of $800 million in 2023? And how did it sell and finance over 120,000 cars in the region? This is the business behind Carro.
I think Carro is a very interesting brand, actually. Applying new technology to what is actually kind of a neglected market, or not so sexy, I mean, selling used cars is never as exciting as selling a new car, right?
Internally, we have what we call computer vision, computer sound, and pricing. Then these are the broad three pillars that we use in AI.
Say you take some photos of a car you want to sell and upload them onto the platform, which then tells you automatically where all the defects and scratches are. If that already saves you 20 minutes of taking more pictures and checking the car, how much more time would it save for the platform?
The mechanics in the past will need to spend an hour, if not 2 hours, especially if the outfield. If you save 50%, 60% of the time off a mechanic, and we multiply this by the thousands of tickets we get daily, then you have a lot of cost savings. Sound technologies itself, who would have recorded the engine sound of a Fiat engine? Maybe less in Singapore, because in Singapore, the cars don't really get flooded. But in Indonesia and Thailand, it's very common. So we built up this proprietary corpus of data sets that allowed us to effectively understand what is considered a good car, what's considered a bad car. Through machine learning, you then learn, okay, this is engine manufacturing, oh, this is Mitsubishi, this is Toyota, and stuff like that. And that's how we did that.
Global spending on AI systems and services has hit $154 billion in 2023. The largest use case for AI this year is vehicular detection and avoidance at $8.9 billion. So it seems only natural for Carro to adopt AI in their business strategies.
The business impact for sound is very simple. It's about misbuying. If you bought the wrong car, you have to then sustain the loss for that, right? And if you can save for every 100 car, if you buy from 5 cars that you bought wrongly to 1 car to 0, that's a huge cost savings that you have annually. We have been able to lower our breakage costs. We have been able to lift the prices of the cars that we sell.
The fact that there's an AI boom now. So the word AI is, cha-ching. As a car business, you'll be going through, hundreds, if not thousands of cars. You need a way to streamline your process. But of course, you don't have to be 100%. Whatever little advantages you can take as a business, you will take.
AI is set to transform the auto industry from manufacturing to the driving experience. But there are also risks and long-term implications, from privacy and safety issues to biased AI and compliance with local regulations.
There really isn't a regional player or even a global player for used cars, because that market has always been kind of more fragmented than the new car market.
So what is Carro's strategy in Asia?
Well, Carro is not big in Singapore because the market is small, and compared to places like Thailand, Malaysia, where they have a totally unrestricted domestic market for car sales.
One of the many things that I raised really was the fact that we expanded beyond the shores of Singapore very early on. And that has given us a lot of room to grow. Today, more than 70% of my revenues comes outside of Singapore. And out of this total revenues, more than 80-90% comes from trading as a business. In Indonesia, we own the largest private fleet of cars. We have a lot of cars that itself that's on financing, on fleet from us, right? We're talking about 15,000 units at any one time.
What they've done is aggressively purchased a lot of used cars from existing fleets. Now it's expensive to hold that inventory, but if you have a certain amount of critical mass, then naturally you will be able to reach a lot of consumers because you have a lot of choice, right? So it's basically buying your way into advantageous position in the market.
Till date, Carro has raised over $705 million with funding from Temasek, SoftBank, and Sime Darby, among others. Carro is currently active in 6 different markets, and with that scale, they will need to navigate industry-specific challenges, primarily the perception of a lack of reliability and uncertainty surrounding pre-owned vehicles.
Nobody trusts a used car salesman. Think about this, right? You do really have a used car salesman that you go to. If the customers do not trust your brand, they think that you are just a fly-by-night operator, you're not going to buy a car, because at the end of the day, the car is not $100, $50, it is $100,000. Honest truth is, the car dealers does make margins from financing services, lending, insurance, but not from selling you the car at that particular price that you think he's selling it for.
One of the ways to measure customer satisfaction and loyalty is through NPS, or Net Promoter Score. In Singapore, the used car industry has an average score of 5 out of 10.
Our NPS is consistently above 9, right? So 9 out of 10, it basically means that there is that referral effect itself. Our NPS scores are relatively high versus the industry anyway.
In order to overcome the stigma surrounding used cars, the company further utilizes AI to develop software and chatbots to enhance customer relationships.
Every single touch point that we have with the customers are tracked. It is extremely important for us, for instance, within the first 5 minutes, there needs to be the first communication to the customers.
So I think another aspect of this is also speed, and the advantage of e-commerce, of course, is doing things quickly. With a big purchase, you need that sort of reassurance that the other side is handling things properly, handling things quickly and thoroughly.
Overall, we are trying to shape ourselves more like a global company, a global APAC business, rather than just only Southeast Asia focused.
To do that, Carro is mulling over plans to move into Hong Kong and Korea. How does the company pick the countries that it wants to expand into?
If you look into the certain cities itself, we just expanded into Saitama, where we bought a small building there. So we like markets like this, whereby there's high purchasing power, good market size, very big population, 7 million in one single city itself. Japan is not actually only Tokyo. People always say that HSR is good, the public transport is great, we don't need to drive a car. But the honest truth is that Japan is the gateway of used cars globally.
Besides building their presence in the regional market, Carro would need to also find its footing in the emerging wave of electric vehicles. The Asia-Pacific EV market is projected to hit over $570 billion in 2029.
We are going to see, hopefully, a future where EVs will make up at least 50% of the market within 10 years. So I think that new car players, used car players, everybody in the industry has to kind of get on board.
That implies that our systems, our infrastructure needs to change. So our workshop needs to be more tooled up to do EVs, right? We are trying to understand how we can be more relevant in this new stage whereby EVs are becoming more and more of the norm. That is very important for us because we need to know what are the markets interested in so that we can better plan for what we feel is the future of the business.
You have petrol cars, you have hybrid cars, you have fully electric cars, and for any big operation to be successful, you will need to be able to handle all kinds of electrified and non-electrified vehicles. So they will have to kind of see how to balance that.